Ready? Chapter 2. Past. Leah had been running non-stop for an hour when she saw the shape of her own camp in front of her. It was only midday. There would hardly be any people there now. Most of the officers would be out on excursions and not be back until nightfall to report any leads. A month ago the order had been made. After that they had been looking. Setting up camps within 24 hours in travel time apart. Every single mage, even the generals of the two armies, were out looking. Every other camp was his, every other's was hers. The armies didn't mix unless they had to. A temporary truce had been agreed upon to find their creator, the one whose blood had made them all into mages. She hadn't felt their creator's blood herself, but Yuha seemed so convinced that she knew she had to trust him on this. She didn't like what she had to do in the least bit, though. She was about to leave the safety of her own camp and run right into the next one, the one of Atlas, the Lieutenant General of Nila's blood army. She would be around Nila's mages, officers she not long ago had fought on the battlefield, officers she now was supposed to stand side by side with and forget all they had done in the past. She didn't like it. She didn't like it at all. She stormed right through the camp, blowing past the two officers still there. They both scratched their heads in confusion at her very brief visit. Her eyes focused on the road ahead. If she ran fast enough, made no stops and took no time to rest, she should be at the next camp by midnight. That way she had cut the normal walking time in half. She tried to swallow the lump forming in her throat, ignoring any fear she was feeling. Right now, the mission was all that mattered. When Keon woke up, he was laying on his back. He lifted his hand to shield his eyes from the sun coming at him from the sky above. His hand nudged his nose and he froze. The pain, it was gone. He started touching his nose with both of his hands. It wasn't broken anymore. It was as if nothing ever happened to it. No blood, no wound, no pain, nothing. Then he stopped himself. The pain he had felt from the back of his head was gone too. He was just about to move his hand to make sure, when he noticed there was another hand there. He jolted up in a sitting position and looked around wide-eyed. It was the woman from before. She was sitting right next to him. She pulled back her hand and looked at him. "I am Aino. It's nice to meet you." She smiled at him and reached out her hand for a greeting. He stared at her, then at her hand. What in the world? "What did you do to me?" He blurted out a lot louder than he had intended. She looked back at him, a bit surprised, but still smiling. "Shake my hand first, and then I'll tell you." He slowly took her hand in his and shook it, still a bit in shock. "Are you some sort of special mage that can heal people or something?" He kept staring at her. She tilted her head. "I'm not a mage." "Then what are you?" He interrupted her and leaned in even closer. "It's been a while since I had anyone this close to me," she said and winked at him. Keon backed away and started talking at maximum speed. "Sorry, it's just that this day has been crazy. I can't wrap my head around it all and it never stops. First a blood mage, Leah, whom I knew as a child, breaks my nose and is on the verge of killing me, just as another blood mage, and he was huge I might add, interrupts her. Then I run straight for the forest while they are preoccupied with each other. Then I get even more hurt when meeting you, who is also this far into the forest for some unknown reason. Then you did whatever it is that you did, some crazy magic thing. I mean, I don't even have scars. This makes no sense whatsoever. What I mean is, I haven't had this much happen in my life in years, and now it's all coming at once." He paused and took a deep breath. "I'm Keon. It's nice to meet you too, Aino." He sat back down, taking in the moment. "Before today, I wasn't even sure mages existed. I know the legend of them have been around for years, but I never thought I would meet one. I hurt her, Leah. I hurt her bad. Bullying her was my outlet. In the moment, I would feel better when I saw her suffer. Afterwards, I would feel even worse about myself, but I still kept doing it, for years. tormenting her for that short gratifying feeling. I don't think I've ever felt true happiness. I remember coming home to nothing. My parents came here for the cold, for the solitude. They traveled for months to get here, from the heat to the cold, from the south of the world to the far north. I didn't imagine that the end result would be them leaving me here all alone, murdered in the forest, the villagers told me. This very forest. I never found out who killed them. I used to hate the people here, and I took out all my anger on Leah. I remember when she ran away from home as a teenager. I should have said sorry back then before she left. But then I would have had to admit that what I did was wrong. It was easier to pretend like it never happened. Eventually the hate I felt for this place was just replaced by apathy. I shouldn't be running. I deserve what is coming. He looked at Aino with sadness in his eyes. But still, thank you for healing me. She looked back at him with compassion. You're welcome. She turned her head toward the sky. It's starting to get dark. Since you asked me before, I'll tell you a bedtime story from my past. I remember 2 children, twins, a boy and a girl. They were no older than 7. Such sweethearts. They were so small and so run down. They almost looked like corpses. Terminally ill from leukemia, it was said. I didn't want them to die. They had done nothing to deserve it. So I thought, since it was in their blood, maybe if I gave them enough of mine, it might help them fight the cancer, make them more like me. I must have trained myself of at least 2 liters, 1 for them each. It was only us 3 there when I did it. No one else knew. I made them promise that no matter if it worked or not, they wouldn't tell anyone, not a soul. I left right after. I barely made it to the forest before I fainted from the blood loss. For a normal human being, it would take a few weeks and the missing blood would be recreated in the body. I would move slowly through the trees. I would often lose consciousness due to the lack of blood, but I kept going. It was the best way to keep hidden. I didn't know how long time had passed, but what I did know is that I wasn't getting any better. I could still feel the blood, weaker the further I moved away from the twins, but still it was there, like it was calling me from their veins, trying to get back to me, as if that blood was all I was ever given. I never went back for it, but I stayed here in the north. I prefer the forest. It's calm. I can move at my own pace. It's rare to meet anyone else. Animals tend to avoid me. Humans, on the other hand, this deep in the forest, you can never know the reason. I prefer to stay out of their way. When I first heard the legend, I knew I screwed up. My blood had made them into something else. It hadn't just healed them, it had made them stronger than I could have ever imagined. It was never my intention. I wanted to give them a fighting chance at a normal life, not a chance to lay the world at their feet. When stories of the 2 armies started to spread, of the destruction they caused, of all the lives they disregarded, of all the murders they committed, I knew that they would one day come for me, come for the rest of my blood. As their armies grow, so does the need for blood in order to create more mages. Aino pointed in the direction where Keon had come running from before. Mages, just like that man waiting outside the forest. I can feel him. He carries my blood, quite a lot of it too. And if I can feel him this clearly, he can without a doubt feel me too. The other one, I could barely feel my blood in her. I doubt she even noticed I was here. That man, though, he's waiting for something or someone. Keon felt stunned. It was her. He had just run into the creator of all the blood mages by accident, and she seemed to have powers not even they had. Nor did she seem to age. By her own story, she should be far older than she looked like. The legend of the blood mages existed because of her. The sea of blood had been a simple blood transfusion. He wondered to himself what other things in the story had been twisted. Had there been someone trying to control the narrative through the legend? From everything Aino had told him, Nothing pointed to her. Was it one of the mages themselves who had spread it? He blinked a few times, trying to grasp the situation. This was a lot to take in for one day.